If someone asked you, what are your values? Could you answer this question with pure confidence? If so, good for you. And if not, it's okay. I was in the same position about 4.5 months ago. As you all know, I'm enrolled in English Comp 1, and you guys are all enrolled in it as well. And the first project we did was to write about a value of ours, the definition of it, and how it emerged. And I didn't know my values, and I definitely didn't know how they emerged. Therefore, that was something I had to work on. A very meaningful thing I would like to talk to you guys about today is something I learned throughout this semester, and that was my values. And today I'm going to tell you stories about how I found these values and a little bit about a specific value, which is trust, that is very meaningful and close to my heart. The first step I took to finding these values was calling my family. Called my mom, my dad, my brother, texted them, just wanted to get their input and their ideas because I trust them, obviously. And so that was already a little bit of a kickstart to, my value. I was like, man, if I'm calling them and I'm trusting them, that just might be my value that I really, want to talk about. And so I'm going to explain some stories about trust that are encompassed in my life and how this value was shown to me. And so we moved from place to place as a kid, and I had to trust my parents that they were doing this for a good reason and that we were moving for a purpose. And, I had to trust myself that, I was going to be good and I was going to be helpful and, trust my brother that he was going to, help my parents as well and just make this smooth transition to a new place. And so after that, the next story I want to talk about is how my parents didn't always have jobs. So when we moved to Texas, my dad did not have a job. And so I had to trust that he would find one. I had to trust that my family would, find a good house. And then I had to trust that I'd find new friends and find a new gymnastics gym because that was the sport that I was doing. And so just had to be trusting in my family and my friends and the whole situation. And then, of course, trusting God. That was always a really big thing that my parents, instilled in me as a kid was to trust God. And so changing schools, that's the next thing I would like to talk about. And that was, trusting God. Trusting the new people that I was meeting, trusting teachers, I had many unknowns, and I just had to learn how to trust. The next story I want to talk about is when I turned 16. The day after I turned 16, I got my license, and this was a big, turning point in my life because my parents had to trust me that I was going to be a good driver, and then also I had to trust other people on the road that they were not going to do crazy things. They weren't going to swerve, they weren't going to hit me, and, they weren't going to do wild stuff either. So that was a big, big transition, and that was just where the value of trust really was shown in my life. As I already mentioned, I had to have trust as a kid in my parents finding a new gymnastics gym for me, and so I want to talk about how I had to be learning how to trust in gymnastics. That takes a lot of physical and mental ability, and, I trusted my body, trusted myself that I knew what I was going to be doing, and then trusting in my coaches to make sure that they were going to be putting me on the right path, doing the right workouts, getting me physically and mentally ready for the competitions. And so that was just always like a really big thing was trust, trust that I'm doing my job, you're doing your job, and we're going to get to the goal. And that's, always to be winning. And so a story that kind of, piggybacks off of the gymnastics in my life would be actually finding a college. So I go here to OU, and I'm a gymnast on the gymnastics team. And I would like to talk about how I decommitted from another school in Missouri to commit here to OU. And, just picking a college, that is a big, big thing in somebody's life. That's a big time about where you're going to be moving, where you're going to be, spending the next 4, maybe 5 years of your life. And so that's just a big point in my life where I did trust God that he was putting me in the right position, trust my coaches back home, that they were sending me a place where they knew the coaches there and that I would be, taken care of and in good hands, and the facilities were going to be great, and just had to be really trustworthy. And a thing that also didn't really realize was trusting myself, that I knew what I was jumping into, and I was going to a place where I needed to be, and I just had to feel good about it. So I prayed about it, and then I finally figured it out, and so I'm really happy that I'm here. But a big thing that I had to do in that process was just trust, because sometimes you don't know the next step, and so that was always a great thing for me, and that value was really shown in that part of my life. A couple other stories that I would like to talk about is just finding friends. Friendships throughout all those different life stages and changes and transitions that I had was finding friends and, forging relationships. And you have to trust the people that you're with. Trust them to make you happy, that they're not going to cheat on you if you had a significant other as a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And then also that they're just going to make me happy, bring me joy in my everyday life. And then, sometimes you have secrets or just things that you want people to keep quiet. And so you just have to trust that they're not going to tell your secrets. They're not going to stab you in the back, just things of that sort. And so you just always need to be, on your toes. But also, sometimes you need to let your guard down and just trust. You made the good decision and the right friends and the relationships, and you're with the right people. And that was always just a thing my parents taught me, was just, make good decisions, but sometimes just let things happen. Trust. You are smart. You have a good brain in your head, and so you just need to trust what decisions you've already made. And so the learning of these values was super meaningful to me because I didn't know myself, and I don't think you can really know yourself until you know your values. And you need to tap into these values so that you can really find your true self. As I finish up today, I want to leave you with a challenge to either tap into your values and use them to become a better version of yourself, or get out there, learn your values, talk to your parents, talk to your coaches, talk to your friends, talk to your grandparents, anybody just that talk to your neighbors and just find your values. Because if you don't find these values, you're never really going to be able to reach your full potential or put them into use into your life. Any questions? Thank you.